Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We are all in tonight with me, Alexandra Levine. We have some major breaking news. What just ended just now, President Trump with the DC National Guard, with the Secret Service, with the patrol, went to the DC Police Department. He actually brought them burgers from the White House chefs. He said, "I will keep you safe." He says, "Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. We love you. And things will continue while I am still here." This was a historic moment today. This happened just about an hour ago. How President Trump, he welcomed and he greeted the DC National Guard. And I can tell you, since the president implemented the DC National Guard, there has been lowerage of crime. There has been less incidents in DC. The people of DC now feel safe to walk down the streets, and they don't have to be in fear of their lives. This is a law and order president. We knew this going in. He was a law and order president in 2017, and he's just getting started. Again, he hasn't even been there for a year. And look at the wonderful, miraculous things he is doing. This also comes off the cuff of the One Big Beautiful Bill. Well, now we have 10,000 more ICE agents, Border Patrol, more money for Border Patrol agents, more money for ICE, so that ICE can go in and get rid of the illegals, the illegal criminals that are all over DC and all over this country. If you go to at ICE, at DHS.com, at DHS, at Borders are Thomas Homan on X, you can see a daily report of all the illegals, the illegal criminals that are being removed from our country on a daily basis. And you can also see all the illegal criminals that are going into the alligator Alcatrazes all over this country, first in Florida and in other states that are opening up Alcatrazes all over the country. As you know, President Trump is looking forward to reopening Alcatraz in in California, which is close to San Diego, and with Attorney General Pam Bondi, and getting real criminals in there. It's not illegal criminals, but American criminals. Maybe Adam Schiff will be in there. Maybe Anthony Fauci. Maybe Letitia James. Maybe James Comey, Clapper, Brennan. You never know. But this is very, very important. This is very historic. How President Trump went to see the National Guard today. As you know, J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth, they went there yesterday. They actually went to Union Station to take a look at the National Guard, to say hello. Of course, there was ridiculous protesters over there. And Vice President J.D. Vance, he made the comment. He says, "Oh, you're the protester who doesn't want law and order. You're the protester who, wants havoc to be in D.C." And it was so funny how they were both laughing, because it's the truth. Why would anyone protest? Why would anyone protest against law and order? Why would anyone protest and call for the defunding of the police? Why would anyone protest for safety? This is something that every single person who's running for office should be talking about. Every incumbent should be focused on. Law and order is here to stay, guys. We cannot be worse than a third world country. And that's what was going on. DC, Baltimore, Chicago, all these cities are worse than a third world country. Thank God to President Trump, to implementing law and order back in DC. And another breaking news. Let's put up this slide. This was very important today, very important. New York Appeals Court, and I have said it on this program and even before this program, that President Trump and his team will continue to appeal these ridiculous indictments against him, these ridiculous charges against him. So the New York Appeals Court has just thrown out the $364 million verdict against President Trump in the case brought by Letitia James. Can you say Letitia James is going to jail? She should. She's horrible. She's a horrible attorney general in New York. As we know, she's not even a resident of New York. She's a permanent resident of the state of Virginia, which is illegal. You can't be the attorney general, which is a state position, and then decide that you're going to be a permanent resident of the state of Virginia. This woman has committed multiple crimes. This woman is a treacherous person, and she should end up in jail. But this was a very big win for President Trump today. New York Appeals Court just thrown out the $364 million verdict against President Trump in the case brought by Letitia James. And then another breaking news that happened in Maryland. Maryland is always in the news, but never, ever for good. You have Governor Wes Moore, who's a Democrat socialist. He was put in by Barack Hussein Obama, Oprah Winfrey, and George Soros. He's running for re-election in 2026, but of course he has aspirations to run for president. They call him a rising star in the Democrat Party. He was at Pimlico today, and let's play the clip of what that moron said.
It's Baltimore's time. And I want to say that loud and clear for anybody, especially in Washington, D.C., who might not hear me. I want to be clear, because this is a community that believes in triumphs and not tropes. This is a community who believes in its people and invests in its people. This is a community that does not look at Baltimore like a punchline, but looks at Baltimore as a source of inspiration. And so I do want to be very clear. If you are not willing to be part of the solution, keep our names out of your mouth. Specifically, Donald Trump, if you are not willing to walk our communities, keep our name out of your mouth.
That guy has such chutzpah, has such nerve to call out President Donald J. Trump. He's just mad because President Trump has called out how horrible Baltimore is. And I can tell you, I'm one of the reasons. I have emailed President Trump and his team on a daily basis about Baltimore and Baltimore City and how horrible it is and how the crime is up. The reason that Baltimore County was called a sanctuary county by the DOJ was because of me and because of this network. I am proud to report fairly on what is going on in Baltimore County and Baltimore City. I am proud to call out what a horrible governor Wes Moore is, how he's a DEI leader. I am proud to call out what a horrible mayor Brandon Scott is in Baltimore City. He calls himself a DEI leader. And I am proud to call out the fact that the Francis Scott Key Memorial Bridge crashed in the river, in the harbor, over 17 months ago. And the governor has done nothing to try to replace it. He's saying that the bridge will be rebuilt by the fall of 2028, which really means 2029. He's waiting for the next presidential election because maybe he thinks he's going to be president in 2029. But that man has done absolutely nothing to help the people of Maryland. That man has done absolutely nothing to keep Maryland safe. And he has the audacity to call up President Trump and say, President Trump, keep Baltimore out of your mouth unless you come here. And everyone said, oh, well, Wes Moore is inviting President Trump to come to Baltimore. No, he is not. He is not inviting President Trump to come to Baltimore. He's telling President Trump to shut the F up if he hasn't come to Baltimore. He's basically saying, President Trump, if you have come to Baltimore, you can speak about it. You haven't been here yet. You can't speak about it. This is all BS. But I can tell you that I have made a special request to President Trump and his press corps team to invite President Trump, to invite Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy and the EPA Director Lee Zeldin to come to Baltimore, to come to Maryland. And I've also invited him to meet conservative elected officials that will greet him, including Delegate Bob Long and elected official Tim Fazenbaker, the two most conservative elected officials in the whole state of Maryland and Baltimore County. Those are the two men that will be greeting President Trump, Lee Zeldin, and Sean Duffy when they come to Maryland, because those two men believe in the America First agenda and the MAGA movement, and they also will welcome President Trump with open arms and give him the respect that he deserves. Governor Wes Moore doesn't respect the power of the president, and he sounds like Will Smith at the Academy Awards when Will Smith smacked that guy, Chris, I forgot his last name, during the Academy Awards. He said, keep my mother effing wife's name out of your mother effing mouth. That's who Wes Moore sounded like. A real disgust. A real disgust. And President Trump is not going to allow Governor Wes Moore to dictate whether he comes to Baltimore or not. Governor Wes Moore should not have the privilege of having President Trump in his presence, because President Trump doesn't need to hear his mouth and doesn't need to hear horrible rhetoric and doesn't need a governor and a city mayor that will combat him on every turn. So we encourage President Trump to come visit Baltimore, but we encourage President Trump to visit Baltimore with the right people that are near him. That will be myself, Delegate Bob Long, elected official Tim Fazenbaker, Kim Stansbury running for Baltimore County Executive, Frank Niehoff, and many other good people that will be greeting President Trump, Sean Duffy, and EPA Director Lee Zeldin. Going into segment one. This is something that has been in the news. This is near and dear to President Trump. President Trump said on his Truth Social a couple days ago that he is going to sign an executive order to get rid of mail-in ballots forever, for good, because he knows that they're subject to fraud. He also wants to get rid of the Dominion machines. It's called ES&S, which is in a lot of states nationwide, that also causes havoc and fraud. Now, in order for this executive order to go through and for mail-in ballots to be removed, Congress has to codify the executive order. The question is, will Congress codify the executive order? It is up to federal law to override state law and to implement no more mail-in ballots and no more machines. But the question is, are the rhinos going to comply here? The Democrats certainly are not. The Republicans have the majority in the House, and of course we must keep the majority, but this is up to Speaker Johnson now. Is this going to happen? As you know, Congress passes the laws. Will Congress codify President Trump's executive order? Will we be rid of mail-in ballots once and for all? Let's put up the first slide. As President Trump tweeted today, end mail-in voting and go to paper ballots. 100 additional seats will go to Republicans. He's 100% correct. Paper ballots all the way. Paper ballots all the way. Election on the day. They do this in Europe, in France, paper ballots. They count the ballots. They know who the winner is that night. No, not here in America. You have mail-in ballots for days, sometimes weeks, especially in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada. We saw the fraud. They have mail-in ballots in my home state of Florida, which I wish they would get rid of. They have Dominion in the state of Florida, which I've asked Governor DeSantis to get rid of. The state of Texas does not have Dominion. They refused. That's why their elections are more free and fair. But there are mail-in ballots all over this country. There's mail-in ballots in Maryland. There's mail-in ballots in New Jersey. There's mail-in ballots in a lot of liberal states. And remember, it's not the amount of votes, it's who counts the votes. Again, the real election fraud is corrupt internal election personnel. My friend William Newton coined the term, and he researched it, and he is correct. Corrupt internal election personnel means the people that are counting the ballots. That means it has to do with the USPS Postal Service, how they backdate the ballots. It has to do with certain rhinos that work for the county elections. Also has to do with the election judges. When you have rhino election judges and no bipartisanship, that's where the fraud comes in. So in order for the fraud to be annihilated, not only do you have to get rid of mail-in ballots, not only do you have to get rid of the machines, but you have to make sure you have the proper people, you have to vet the proper people to count the ballots. And now we go into the second slide. So we see a lot of these southern states getting on board, such as the great state of Missouri. Admiral Donald Trump said the great state of Missouri is now in. I'm not surprised. It is a great state with fabulous people. I won it all 3 times in a landslide. We're going to win the midterms in Missouri again, bigger and better than ever before. So Missouri's getting on board. Other southern states are getting on board with the removal of the mail-in ballots, and also has to do with this redistricting and going back to Census 2020. Again, the state of Texas was originally offered 5 Republican congressional seats in the census. Florida was offered 2. There was other states that were offered more. What did Texas do? They had a vote in the Texas State House. They approved it, that 5 new congressional Republican districts will be implemented. Jasmine Crockett will be out of a job. Now it goes to the Texas Senate for a final vote, which we all know, because the Texas state legislators' majority is Republican, it will be passed and will go through, even with the grandstanding of the Democrat legislators. Now, the Democrat legislators, they should have all been arrested because they went to another state trying to gerrymander and redistrict Illinois and California and other states instead of taking care of their own state. Even though they knew in the back of their mind that the Texas state legislation is Republican and they wouldn't win, but the fact that they lobbied in other states is illegal and an act of treason. And I've talked to a lot of election integrity people about this. What they did was wrong, and Governor Abbott and Ken Paxton said they were going to arrest these mofos, and they need to. And these are the type of people that would vote in one state and then vote in another. They are fraudulent people to the core. The fact that these Texas lawmakers decided to take a quick vacation to other states and not focus on their district shows that they need to be voted out. But Jasmine Crockett is a detriment to our nation. She's a Democrat socialist. She's horrible. – Same thing with Congressman Alan Green. There's a lot of rhinos that live in the state of Texas too. Congressman Dan Crenshaw is one of them. He turned on President Trump in 2020 and in 2021 and 2022. He's a former Navy SEAL. He has a reputation about helping other former Navy SEALs. There's a lot of bad actors that are in Congress that are a part of the deep state that need to be weeded out. The Republican Party is too divided. They need to be unified. But in order for unification to happen, we have to have people that are on board with President Trump and his agenda. If you're a Trump supporter, call yourself a Trump supporter. Don't just pander for votes. Because President Trump is the head of the Republican Party, whether you like him or not. And if you are a Republican running for a state, local position, or a federal position, you have to get on board with President Trump. You have to support his policies. You have to support the man, or don't run at all. And I know some people that live in very liberal districts and liberal counties and liberal states, they don't want to focus on Trump. That's fine. Trump doesn't have to come out of your name every time, but you need to acknowledge the man and his policies. You can't just come out and say, I'm not a Trump supporter. You can't do that. That doesn't help you when you're running as a Republican. That hurts you, especially if you're running for governor of a state. You need every single Republican vote if you're running for governor of any state, whether it's liberal or not. But guys, this is really important. This is really important to understand that people's lives are being hurt and jeopardized because of these mail-in ballots, because of the fraud. Real people, real conservatives, real Republicans that need to be in office get screwed because of these mail-in ballots. And the rhinos and the Democrats, they're in on it. And of course, we have Tina Peters, who President Trump tweeted or retruthed about today. Tina Peters has been tortured by crooked Colorado politicians because she called out the mail-in ballots and called out the fraud in the state of Colorado, and they threw her in jail. Tina Peters, as we know, is a very elderly woman. She's not doing well. She's sick. President Trump has called for her release. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the authorization to pardon her and get her out of there. It's up to the state. And he's putting the pressure on the state to release her. She needs to be released. There's a lot of people that called out the fraud of the 2020 election and even before then, and they ended up in jail for no reason at all, just because they told the truth. It's really sad that they would keep an older woman, I think she's 79 years old, Tina Peters, in jail just because she told the truth. She did her time. She suffered enough. The state of Colorado needs to do something and step it up. The state legislators of Colorado need to step it up and release that poor woman. But as I said in previous episodes and previous shows, President Trump is not going to stop until he exposes the fraud of the 2020 election beyond. As you know, the auto pen is something that he is working wholeheartedly on exposing. It's very important, guys. It's very important that we expose these lies and that we tell the truth to the American people. And of course, people are like, oh, Republicans are gerrymandering. They're gerrymandering. They're just like Democrats. No, they're not. No, they're not. Remember. These were congressional districts that were originally put in place in the 2020 census, and the Democrats actually took it from them. So what do the Republicans do? They're just taking their districts back. But the Democrats continue to gerrymander their districts every single day. Even in the state of Maryland, Governor Wes Moore talked about re-gerrymandering the congressional districts to weed Congressman Andy Harris out, who's the only Republican congressman in the state of Maryland. He's the head of the Maryland Freedom Caucus and the head of the House Freedom Caucus. He's the chairman. Why do that to him? Why hurt him for no reason? Just because you want more Democrat gain in Maryland? People are leaving your state, Wes Moore. They can't afford it anymore. And now they're expanding the Baltimore County Council from 7 to 9. The NAACP is trying to find a way to gerrymander the districts to their liking. And they're going to sue and sue and sue until a map is drawn that they approve of. And people like our good friend Tim Fazenmaker is running in a very hardcore conservative MAGA America First district. They want to try to hurt his district too. Put a rhino in there against him. They don't know what to do with Essex. They want to gerrymander Essex in there. That's why it's so important, guys. It's so important that we not only work on the federal level, but we work on the state and the local level, because politics is local. That's why it's so important that Tim Fazenmaker is on the county council. That's why it's so important that Connie Ditzel and Gonzalez are on the New Jersey Assembly. That's why it's so important that Pete Sykes is on the Assembly as well. And we have good, solid people in there. So guys, again, we really need to push to remove the mail-in ballots. We need to push to remove the machines, and we need to push for election on the day. And that should be it. Enough is enough. They do it in Europe. It's very important, guys. It's very, very important that we get the right people in office and that our elections are free and fair and secure. Well, coming up after the break, we have a repeated guest, John Richardson. He works for rncstore.com. Remember, he's our affiliate sponsor. Please go to rncstore.com/ALL. Let's put up the flyer right now. There you go, rncstore.com/ALL. Richardson Nutritional Center. If you do not use the discount code ALL, you do not get the discount. You must use the discount code. You get 10% off. And of course, the more you spend, the more you get off. This is a phenomenal, phenomenal treatment. The supplements are phenomenal. Apricot seeds are so good for the body. I take them. I love these supplements. The B17 that John Richardson has proven is amazing. And guys, you're going to hear more about what he's doing and the amazing stuff that he is doing right here after the break. Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did. Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network segment 2. We have a returning special guest, John Richardson. There you go, rncstore.com/ALL. That's rncstore.com/ALL. Please go and scan that QR code. You have to put ALL to get the discount. If you don't put an ALL, you don't get the discount. But we are so happy to have him back on our show. Let's bring him up.
Hello,
Hi,
Alexandra.
how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming back on. We love having you. You have been such a great addition to our network and to our program.
Thank you so much. I'm here actually in a hotel in Scottsdale where I just gave a presentation and introduced the people that are running this. It's called the Aligned Wealth Experience. Not that anybody knows what that is, but the people that are running it, their father was saved a death sentence of 12 weeks to live with pancreatic cancer and celebrated his 4th year of being no cancer in his body on the day before the election day. The day before we got the great news about President Trump, he celebrated his 4th year of being cancer free. And so it was a great presentation. I'm sky high. And so it's great to see the momentum that's going on and all the wonderful things you reported on. I got to hear all that. You're such a great reporter, and your network is really doing a service to give people this news that you don't find anywhere else. So that's what we're going to do about B17 and what's going on with the medical industrial complex.
So tell us, John, what makes the B17 and the apricot seeds really help to reduce the stage 4 cancers, whether it's pancreatic cancer, stomach cancer, et cetera?
Well, Laetrile is a part of a metabolic therapy. It's been known for 100 years. It's been documented and proven since the 60s and 70s when my father, Dr. Richardson, treated over 6,000 patients with metabolic therapy. And you go, what does metabolic therapy mean, John? Come on, stop the hocus pocus. Metabolic therapy is bringing your body's metabolism back into alignment with what God gave us. We have so many things going on in this world, poisonous foods, stuff they spray on us, GMO food, genetically modified. They've taken the seed that God said in Genesis 1:29 shall be for the food and removed it from all of our fruits. Go try it, Alexandra, go try to buy a seeded grape or an apple with seeds in it nowadays, or a watermelon with seeds in it. The seed that God said we should be eating has the amygdalin in it. What it is about the amygdalin when it's purified is that it directly attacks the cancer cells because of the metabolic treatment, the way the compound works. It specifically attacks the cancer cell and none of the healthy cells. And I'm happy to go over that again. I don't know how long our segment is, but people hear that and they go, wow, that sounds like good chemotherapy. Well, it was the whole concept of chemotherapy was started by Dr. Kanemitsu Segura at Sloan Kettering. And he tested Laetrile and said it was the most effective natural chemotherapeutic agent he'd ever tested. And he is the one that's credited with coming up with chemotherapy in the first place. But they lied about it and kept it hidden and slandered him. So we've suffered through 60 years of death and destruction when we've had God's answer all along.
So I have a question. So would you say that using the B17 and the apricot seeds and the supplements that you promote is better for you than going through chemotherapy and radiation, in your opinion?
Well, there again, I'm not a doctor, and so I don't give medical advice. But we've been going through, my dad, when he in the 70s, we've been treating people with 3 therapies in the United States. These 3 therapies: chemotherapy, which is poisonous drugs that are designed to kill the cancer before it kills you. That's what they state. Hey, maybe we can kill the cancer before you die. But only 6% of a normal chemotherapeutic treatment gets to the cancer cell. The other 94% goes to the rest of your body. So we always see the results when people are getting chemotherapy. Then you have X-ray, radiation. Well, we're always told, Alexandra, don't get radiated. Don't sit next to the microwave. Don't sit next to the TV because the radiation will increase your rate of cancer. But however, when they say we have stage 4 cancer, what do? We try to radiate it to shrink that tumor. Again, hoping to destroy the tumor before we destroy the rest of your body's function. And so many people have gone through radiation therapy and burned. And then the final one, which is the only one that my dad would ever even recommend to a small percentage of his patients, is surgery. And he would only recommend it in a case where something was blocked or something was causing not you be able to breathe, or your heart would, the tumor had grown so large that you needed to get that relief. But all 3 of these are really barbaric. And because I'm not a doctor, I can tell you that the success rate, I can tell you, is less than 7.5% survival over 5 years for all cancers combined. And the only reason that's even 7.5% is because they put in a lot of skin cancers, which truly aren't classical cancer, but they have a longer lifespan, but they can destroy you because it's a bacterial infection or something else. So the point is, Alexandra, I know doctors right now that are literally quoting 80, 86, 90% heal rates, the body's immune system able to get rid of the cancer by using natural metabolic therapies. They don't advertise it. They don't put it out there on the nightly news because they've always been concerned about the 3-letter agencies coming in and shutting them down, raiding them, arresting them, taking away their license like they did with my father, like they did with the frontline doctors who told us about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Same story, just cancer. This story has been happening in the cancer world for 60 years. My dad was learning about this, even though his entire education was pharmaceutical. He was learning about this in the 60s, and he knew when he sent his patients away, he'd never see him again. So the answer to your question, Alexandra, is I wouldn't wish the cancer therapies on my worst enemy. Many times the cancer therapies are more deadly and more destructive of your happiness than the cancer itself. So that's my answer. I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe medicine, and I don't treat patients. But if you ask me my opinion, I wouldn't have my worst enemy do the 3 treatments that are approved by the medical associations, the AMA, the FDA: chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. And that's been going on for 60 years. Have the cancer rates come down, Alexandra? Your own insight can tell you that we know cancer rates haven't gone down. They've exploded as our diet and then the things that help destroy our immune system have all increased, and our absolute nutritional intake of foods containing B17 has gone plummeted to the point that it's almost non-existent.
We know what's really weird is that we have this quote new COVID strain. They call it the summer strain. And this happened last year. It's very rare for people to get sick during the summer because they always say like the heat kills the virus. But what we're seeing now is, of course, people that got 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 9 jabs is the maximum already. They're constantly getting COVID. It's just a rotating thing. Would you say that your supplements that you sell, that you advertise for, really help with the immunity, boost the immunity, will be more prevention against people getting COVID or getting sickness in the summertime and so forth?
Well, we've done a complete study of amygdalin studies that are out there, and we've compiled them. Anybody that wants them, we can get them to them. But in 2007, they did a study on amygdalin that showed that it killed the coronavirus. Now, that's corona before we even knew what coronavirus 19 or COVID-19 is, but it killed the cold virus. They did a study. And so absolutely a nutrient that God gave us in 1,200 different foods, amygdalin, has been shown to help with lung capacity, to help with hair, to help with libido, to help with skin, to help with so many different things. We actually have a list of 17 great benefits of eating B17 and apricot seeds that aren't even associated with the C word, as we call it around here, with the cancer word, because you get silenced when you say cancer on any TikTok platform or Google or YouTube or anything like that. So we get used to saying the C word or the big C. So yes, it absolutely helps with overall immune system support. Documented, proven. It's not just because I want to sell some more apricot seeds, Alexandra. It's because I want people to know the truth, and I want a world without cancer, and I want it in my lifetime. My dad gave his life for this mission, and I'm continuing that mission. And my oldest son is also continuing that mission. And hopefully my daughter, who just started college yesterday, will also help in that mission by getting her degree in naturopathic or nutritional, health. So
that's amazing. And, one thing about your supplements is I know that they don't just help prevention of cancer. I know that they help with immunity as well. Would you say that they help with digestion? Would you say they help with hemorrhoids? We did have another colleague of yours, Dr. Bobry from Russia, from Georgia. He does a lot of the all natural supplements also, and he specializes in helping people with anxiety, PTSD, stress, immunity, also helping people with hemorrhoids. Would you say that your supplements are very similar to his or in that same realm?
Well, his supplements, I know Bobry Oren very well. His supplements remove heavy metal toxins. He's got lots of documented proof about that, and a lot of people use it. There's so many, Alexandra, there's so many natural God-given answers. I mean, even the enzymes found in, papaya, the enzymes found in, pineapple. There's so many natural things that help. And so would I say that his are the same as what the benefits of Laetrile? I'd say they're great benefits, but with Laetrile, it specifically chemically kills the cancer cell before it ever metastasizes. So there's an article that was just put out, it was February of 2024, where CNBC, not a favorite probably of your network or my family, but CNBC said the Hanzas of northern Pakistan live to be over 100 years old. And they say these are the top 5 reasons that they live to be over 100 years old. Your producer can search it, CNBC, Hanzas, 100 years. The number one reason, Alexandra, is that they eat lots of apricot seeds and apricot seed oil. So if apricot seeds and B17 can help your body fight off cancer, then Bobry Oren's supplements or vitamin C or many of the other great supplements out there also that have been depleted from our food can help with other diseases as well. I believe 95% of our diseases will be gotten rid of just by getting our diet and our food and what we eat and what we supplement with back into balance with what God had us do in the first place. So our immune systems can fight it all off and not have to suffer these diseases, not have 60% of the population be sick. It's a supplemental world because our food is not healthy.
I agree with you. And thank God that we have a proper HHS secretary who's removing all the synthetic colors and dyes out of our food. Thank God. A follow-up question about the seeds. Do you believe in not only, in addition to apricot seeds, do you believe that people should be eating watermelon seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, apple seeds? Is it just apricot seeds that you feel are just the main seed that we should be eating, or is your organization or company expanding to more seeds that people should be eating in addition to the apricot seeds?
Well, the answer is yes, that you should eat every seed. God said in Genesis 1:29, you shall have the seed for your food. If you don't believe in God, and I'm not saying everybody has to believe in the same God as me, it's proven in nature that animals that eat the seeds and animals that eat the grasses and the grains that contain B17 have lower rates of cancer. The Hunzas, again, like I said, live to be 100 years old. But here's some fruits that carry B17: blackberry, boysenberry, chokeberry, wild crabapple, market cranberry, Swedish. This is a book written by an ex-FDA agent, toxicologist and pharmacologist, that said there's 1,200 different foods that have B17 in them. But the problem is the American diet, most of it's cooked out, GMO'd out, or poisoned out, so that we're eating just basically cardboard. No wonder we're getting sick. So, no wonder cancer rates are exploding. No wonder the average colon cancer case is now under 50. So, but if we just eat the seeds, flaxseed, nectarine seed, peach seeds, pear, plum, there's 1,200 different foods. And so absolutely, we concentrate on the apricot seed, Alexandra, simply because it's the easiest to get. Apple seeds are hard to get in bulk.
Yeah, true.
You could try, you can't do it. It's peach seeds have 10% of the amount of amygdalin in them that apricot seeds do. But a lot of people said you should do peach seeds. Yes, we should. But for years we've been concentrating on the apricot seed because it has 20 milligrams of amygdalin each seed. An apple seed has 1 milligram. The media will tell you, don't eat apple seeds, they're poisons for you. The opposite is true. When you eat an apple, eat the whole thing, including the seeds. Don't eat GMO apples with no seeds. Eat the seed. That's the seed shall be thy food.
Now, just a final question, and maybe you can delve on this or maybe not, but I've done I was in the skincare industry for a long time, and I've done segments on my show about natural skincare, natural hair care, especially hair care that has no synthetic colors or dyes. Do you believe that, or maybe do you know, is there B17 in any natural skincare or natural hair care that clients can put in as well, in addition to taking the apricot seeds, in addition to the supplements? Because I believe when you're intaking proper nutritional supplements like apricot seeds, like what you do, etc., it's also what you put topically on your face and topically on your hair as well. Do you feel that there's a interconnection with that? Do you feel like there's a parallel with all that?
I do. Absolutely. My wife said she grew 6 inches when she started taking 500 milligrams of B17. We met 3 years ago. She had 5 kids. I had 6. I'd always given my kids B17. She didn't know about it. She was a nutritionist. Many nutritionists out there don't know the concept of B17, but she said her skin was so amazing. She's got the skin of a little kid, a baby. Her hair grew 6 inches, her nails grew, and so many people are finding that when they take B17, their whole immune system works better. But it's funny that you brought up the oil, almost like we planned it, and we didn't. We've recently come out with our apricot kernel oil that women are raving about when they put it in their hair, they're putting it on their skin, they're putting it on their hands. And all it is, Alexandra, if you've been in skincare, it's our entire ingredient list on our apricot kernel oil is apricot seed oil. That's it. No preservative, no coloring, no flavoring. And women and men are raving about it. People that put it in their hair, it stays in the hair. You have to put a cap on overnight, but you wake up in the morning and shampoo it out, and it feels amazing. The kind of results we're getting, the feedback we're getting, that product is exploding in the sales. And virtually no one's eating it for the health benefits. My wife says you can charge people $100 for something healthy and they'll be like, oh, they'll complain about it, but you charge them $1,000, it makes them look prettier and they'll love it. We don't charge $1,000 for our oil. We charge $19.99 to get it on a subscription. And and people are raving about it. And so you can go to the website, use the discount code, and the discount that you've mentioned several times. Use that discount code and you ALL every time, or /ALL. You never have to think about it again. It'll automatically do it for you. If you do rncstore.com /ALL, not only get you a discount, supports the network, but now if you go on a subscription, you're getting it for so low, it's crazy not to do it. And you can cancel anytime. And it's just a great, the oil is just a great thing for women. And we're getting, like I said, rave reviews, and the reorder level is something we've never seen before, because people order apricot seeds and they taste bitter. So they're like, I don't really like those. So we've had to figure out ways to have them eat them that aren't bitter. And we've done that. We're doing that. But with the apricot seed oil, we see a reorder rate that's off the charts.
Well, I'm a big fan of oil and I advertise for oil. Can you also put the oil on your face in addition to your hair?
Absolutely. That's what we've had people that had spots in their dark spots on their face and on TikTok videos and actually show it go away.
Oh, wow. Well, that's amazing.
Now, we're not making any health claims with the oil. It's just a topical beauty oil, but God put all the enzymes and everything that's in the oil. And the Hunzas were well known for living over 100 years old, and their skin at 90 would look like they were 50 or 60 years old. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, John, tell my viewers again how they can look you up, how they can find you, how they can follow you, and let us know of any events that are coming up where people can actually hear you speak live. Yeah. You go to get a free copy of the book. Go right now, your audience, go to get a free copy of this book, World Without Cancer, by going to myworldwithoutcancer.com. It's absolutely free, no strings attached. Put your first and last name and your email address, and you'll get a free copy. And then you'll get on our email list. And you'll hear about where I'm speaking, how you can contact me. And if anybody wants to follow me, you can go on the socials. And that's, I'm on TikTok and Instagram and X and all that kind of stuff. So you can follow me on those platforms to find out what's going on as well. But the easiest way is to go get your free book, Change Your Life, My World Without Cancer, at myworldwithoutcancer.com. Awesome. And Damon Strad, let's put up the flyer again of rncstore.com /ALL. So everybody knows. Yep. There it is. So go to rncstore.com /ALL. Again, put in the discount code. Without it, you don't get the discount. So the more that you spend, the more you get. But this is where you can get the apricot seeds, the B17, the apricot oil, everything that John Richardson talked about tonight. Get it tonight. You will feel better. I use them. I love them. My immune system it's so much better. And I tell my audience all the time, in the process of losing weight, this has helped me lose weight. Thank you, John. Thank you for creating such a fabulous product, because it is amazing and it really does work.
Thank you. God created it. I just make it available for people to get it really simply. So it's that's the great thing. God created
Awesome.
it.
Well, thank you, John. And we will be looking forward to having you back on our show next month. Again, our special guest, John Richardson. Thanks, guys. And we will be right back after the break.
All right. Bye-bye.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. We are back with segment 3. I'm Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. Of course, we just had our affiliate sponsor, John Richardson, on. Don't forget to go to rncstore.com /ALL right now. Put in ALL. You get the discount. It's 10% off. Of course, the more you spend, the more you get. Get your apricot seeds, get your B17, get your apricot oil, all these wonderful, wonderful supplements that help with immunity, that help with prevention of cancer. If you have stage 4 cancer, this will reduce your cancer without going through all the chemo and radiation that you're going through. And if you are going through chemo and radiation, the apricot seeds will actually help so that all of those toxins from the chemo and radiation will start to deplete from your body. And the apricot seeds and the apricot oil and the B17 will actually help to repair all of the damage that the chemo and the radiation have done to your body. So please, guys, this is very important to use a natural supplement in your body, on your face, on your hair. It will help you long term. So segment 3 talks about who is winning. But last night on the Pulse, we talked a lot about wokeism and how wokeism, unfortunately, is still kind of creeping in. The good news is that the CEO from Target, he resigned. As you know, Target was completely going woke. They did a whole LGBTQ Pride Month, just celebrating Pride Month over celebrating other things such as Jewish holidays, Christmas, Easter, Passover, and so forth. I remember going to a Target, I couldn't find a menorah anywhere. Jewish Heritage Month was never celebrated. But now that Target sales have gone down, a lot of people aren't going to Target. Target is going bankrupt. They had no choice but to tell the CEO, you either resign or you're fired. So he stepped down and resigned. Will Target, will they remove all the wokeness from their store? Will they remove having LGBTQ stuff for young people and try to indoctrinating our children and continue to indoctrinate our young kids? We'll see. My question to my audience, are you still going to go to Target? If you removed yourself or banned or boycotted going to Target because of the wokeness and because of the LGBTQ stuff, are you now going to start going back into Target because the CEO of Target is gone? That's a question to my audience. Well, the second question is Cracker Barrel. I love Cracker Barrel. I used to go there a lot with my family. It's a great restaurant to go to when you're on a long road trip. Cracker Barrel, they have little games you can go in. They have a huge Cracker Barrel shop there. They have really great fried chicken. If you like a Southern fried chicken, you get Southern fried chicken. You just get regular fried chicken. You can get mashed potatoes, green beans. I mean, it's Southern comfort food. They mostly have Cracker Barrels in the Deep South. So what did this wokeness CEO do? She decided to take the main emblem of Cracker Barrel, which was known as having an older gentleman standing there very comfortable with a fishing rod representing Cracker Barrel. What did she decide to do? Remove, in her mind, the old white man from the image and just put in Cracker, or just write Cracker Barrel in orange and black. No image of the white guy, just Cracker Barrel. What the hell? She's taking something that has been there for 40 plus years and removing it. She's an LGBTQ plus alliance woman. Is removing the logo an accident? No, of course not. This was part of her project all along. This is part of her wokeness. Maybe she's a part of the LGBT queer community. And she's taking her frustration out on basically the mascot of Cracker Barrel. It's like ruining Bud Light all over again. Now she's ruining this iconic emblem of a restaurant. My question to my audience, are you going to continue to go to Cracker Barrel? Are you going to boycott Cracker Barrel? Are you going to demand that this woman puts the older gentleman back on to Cracker Barrel? Doesn't this remind you of when they removed Aunt Jemima from the bottle, when they removed Uncle Ben, when they removed the Indian from Land O'Lakes butter, saying it was racist, saying it was all this crap? I mean, what does this woman expect? Is she basically saying it's racist to have an older white guy as a symbol of a fisherman, symbol of a Cracker Barrel, symbol of the Deep South? This is a woke woman with a woke agenda pushing her woke DEI crap into Cracker Barrel. And as a result, I can tell you Cracker Barrel will go down. The stock will go down. People will start going to restaurants. And hopefully she'll be fired. Or she'll be forced to resign. The fact that they allowed her to do this, I mean, she's the CEO. I guess she can do whatever she wants. But I know that they have a board. The fact that the board allowed this to happen is disgusting. Did they not learn? Did they not learn? I mean, look at the bottom, guys, of the old emblem and the new emblem of Cracker Barrel. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. To take away history, just like in Maryland, they want to change the name of the Francis Scott Key Memorial Bridge because they said Francis Scott Key was a racist, a slave owner. Let's name it Harriet Tubman. Let's name it Frederick Douglass. Let's name it Martin Luther King Jr. Let's name it Malcolm X. You kidding me? Why does everything have to be about race and gender? Why does everything have to be political? Emory Randall, libs are basically just mindless animated stool samples. President Trump rules them. Well, President Trump doesn't rule anybody. He's not a dictator and he's not a king. But libtards are basically mindless animated stool samples. He's correct about that. They are pieces of crap. But the point is that you're taking something iconic and you're ruining it. And there should be justice here. I love Cracker Barrel. I love going there when I'm on a road trip. I love stopping there. They have good beer. They're known for their fried chicken. This is what happens when you have a woke woman in charge of an organization, of something that is amazing, and going political and making things personal. So I hope that the people fight back against this. Now for the second slide, Eric Daughtry. Big news, breaking. Johnson & Johnson announces a $2 billion investment in the USA for manufacturing in North Carolina. Johnson & Johnson is a big pharmaceutical company. Of course, they were the ones that created the COVID-19 vaccine for them. But they were the ones that said you only need one shot. One shot does it all. You don't need to take 2, 3, 4, 5 boosters. They're not like Pfizer and Moderna. But Johnson & Johnson, that's baby shampoo. They're investing $2 billion into this country and not overseas. Thank you, President Trump. Can you say the tariffs are working? And this next slide, the third slide, talking about trade. President Trump formally finalizes the $1.3 trillion European Union trade deal. The EU tariffs on U.S. industrial goods are being ended. $600 billion in investments in USA and $700 billion in European energy purchases from the USA. Remember, President Trump just had a wonderful summit with European leaders. The head of the European Commission, Ursula, who loves President Trump, she's on board. She's like, let's do this. President Trump said, I'll end the tariffs if you play ball. And she did. $600 billion in investments in the USA. That's what she agreed upon. And $750 billion of European energy purchases from the USA. Thank you, President Trump. That is a big win for our country. Again, our country is winning again. Our country is getting richer. Our country is making things here in the USA. And we should all be happy for it. And we should all be proud of President Trump for doing this. We knew that he was going to do this when he got back in. And he's doing it so fast and so quick. He is the master negotiator, especially when it comes to trade. He was the one that said in 2017, actually in 2016, he said, what the hell? Why are we Americans getting ripped off by China, by Europe? The fact that under Joe Biden, the USA gave Ukraine $350 billion, taxpayer dollars, by the way. You said Europe only gave $100 billion. It should be reversed. Why the hell did America get stuck paying $350 billion to Ukraine for BS? And then Zelensky said, oh, I lost some of that money. Zelensky came into the halls of Congress and demanded more. Lobbying on Capitol Hill for more money for Ukraine. President Trump does not want to continue these feckless wars. He wants the wars to come to an end so that we have more money for Americans. Bring back artificial jobs into this country. Bring back the steel jobs, the coal miner jobs, the welders, the backbone of our nation. Bring back Carrier air conditioning. Remember, When President Trump, in 2016, when he got elected, he saved 1,500 Carrier air conditioning jobs. He would have saved more, but he wasn't the president. Obama did nothing. Obama was cool with the fact that Carrier air conditioning was going to be going to Mexico. This is when President Trump was the president-elect, doing deals, doing job, or getting the job done. Because the previous presidency, Obama and Biden, didn't give a crap about we the people. Remember Biden and Obama? They're all about jobs for illegals, money for illegals. And our country has been hurt because of it. And then the final slide of tonight. Again, we continue with the wokeism. Our real Donald Trump. What did he write? California school district, or excuse me, any California school district that doesn't adhere to our transgender policies will not be funded. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Again, it's about cutting the Department of Education, which President Trump did, having education into the states, but President Trump said we will not fund any state that continues with the transgender policies, the woke agenda, the DEI, and all this crap. And he's right. Gavin Newsom is terrible. The curriculum in California sucks. In Baltimore County, Maryland, the kids can't even read. Their education is horrible. Remember what I said, politics is local. You don't get the right people in the local level, your state turns to crap. And that's why people leave. That's why most people homeschool their kids if they can. Because it's very important, guys. It's very important that we have proper teachers that educate the kids properly. They don't put their political bias or spin into the classroom. They teach the history as is. But transgenderism, CRT, wokeism, gender identity is not part of everyday life. That doesn't get you into college. That doesn't get you a real job in the real world. Pushing your agenda, pushing race, pushing ethnicity to try to get ahead doesn't work anymore. I don't say, oh, I'm Jewish, so I should get the job. Oh, I'm a woman, I should get the job. No, everyone should be treated equally. Just because you're black, white, Jewish, Hispanic, Arabic, Muslim, whatever race, religion, creed you are, you get the job based on merit, not because of your gender, not because of your ethnicity. And not because you're woke. That's why Pete Hegseth took out the wokeism out of our military, because it was getting insane. Our military was looking so weak because we had a bunch of pansies in there. And that's the truth. Again, our country is going back into law and order. Our country is getting rid of the wokeism and the DEI. And we're getting our country back on track, and everybody should be on board with this. Everybody. There should be no division. President Trump is the head of the Republican Party. Every Republican should back him, support him, and not undermine him, and not try to hurt him. There's a lot of moderate Democrats that have hashtag had enough of their party, and they're thinking of jumping ship and hashtag exiting the Democrat Party and becoming Republican. Good for them. They've had enough. If you guys don't see the wonderful things that President Trump has done since he's been in office, you're not paying attention and you're listening to the wrong media outlets. Again, we are not fake news. We are not mainstream media. We are the new conservative media at the White House. I am the White House correspondent for this network. And there's a reason, because I report honestly and fairly. And because I support President Trump and his agenda, and because I will never treat him unfairly and I will never disrespect him and the Oval Office. I walk in there wearing a suit. I wear a dress. My hair is always nice. My makeup is always fresh. I'm always wearing perfume. That is the look when you walk into the White House. You don't look disheveled. You don't go in there without a tie and your shoes full of holes and scuffled and your shirt dirty. No, you go in there looking nice. You go in there with fresh makeup. Hire a professional hairstylist and a professional makeup artist if you have to. I get my hair done every single week. That's what you do. It is an image. It only takes one moment to make a first impression, one chance to make a first impression. You want it to be good. But when you're in the Oval Office and you're with the president, you don't act like an a-hole. You respect him. You respect Caroline Levitt. You respect The Office. Speaking of office, we have wonderful people that are running for office, including my good friend Tim Fazenbaker. Let's put him up. There you go. He is a candidate for Baltimore County Council, District 9. It is the most MAGA/America First district. It is his to win. The rhinos don't know what to do. Tim was the only elected official at an event last night with CBS Baltimore discussing the Francis Scott Key Memorial Bridge, what's going to happen to it when it's going to be rebuilt. He was interviewed by them, and they said, "Oh my God, we can't believe you're the only elected official here, Tim." And they were so proud to interview him. Please go to timfazenbaker.com, make a donation today. The donation doesn't just go to Tim. It goes to saving his district. It goes to saving the entire state of Maryland. Because as I said, he's an America First guy. He coined the term American Kids First. He believes in our country. He believes in our nation. And he's a wonderful family. And he's a wonderful human being. And he cares about the people. And another person that cares about the people, Constance Ditzel, running for New Jersey Assembly in LD number 5 with her friend Gonzalez. She is having a wonderful event. Let's put up the flyer there. Yep, she's having an event September 7th at 5:30 p.m. Please, guys, Cooper River Yacht Club, please go to her Facebook, go to her website, click the QR code, go to her X account, look her up, donate to her today. Every dollar, again, goes to helping New Jersey, to helping her district. So fundraiser for state assembly candidates, Constance Ditzel and Nilsa Gonzalez, 2 wonderful ladies. Also, we have Pete Sykes, who's running for New Jersey Assembly as well, and many others. And of course, we have Damon Galdo, who possibly will be running for Congress. Isn't officially announced yet, but he's contemplating, he's thinking about it, and he'll be there too. There's also an event April 28th that's coming up next week with Jack Schiffarelli, who's running for the governor of New Jersey. Damon Galdo will be there, so will Constance. That's going to be April, I always say April, I don't know why. April, we're not in April, we're in August. August 28th, A's and A's. August 28th, it'll be an evening event with Jack Schiffarelli. If you have not met Jack Schiffarelli, he is running for governor of New Jersey. We want him in there. He's the Republican. He has been heavily endorsed by President Trump multiple times. It is his to win. Go there and meet them. If you haven't met Damon Galdo, go meet Damon Galdo. If you haven't met Constance and Nilsa Gonzalez, go meet these people. Everyone always says, I've never met the candidates. I've never met them. Well, here, guys, here is your opportunity. You can always meet Tim Fazenbaker. You can always go on his Facebook. You can follow him on X at America1TimFaze. He is very accessible and very transparent. He gets back to you immediately, either on Facebook or on Twitter. Please, guys, these people are all accessible. They love you. They're America First. They support President Trump and his policies, but they also support you, which is very important. And of course, don't forget our good friend Seth Eisenberg, his GoFundMe. Seth, unfortunately, was in the hospital for over a month. He has had surgery, multiple surgeries on his foot. He almost lost his foot. We are raising money for him. He has raised over $6,500. The goal is $10K. The final goal is $100K, but he is a former military. He served our nation. It is time to get back to him. So instead of giving money to murderers, illegals, pro-Hamas people, and all the bad guys out there, and bad girls, go to help by donating to Jonah Eisenberg /health/crisis. Give a donation. Average donation is $150 to $200. Give, guys. Give to him. He has bills to pay. He has a son to support. And he's got to get back on his feet. Thank God he's working. He is, quote, back on his feet. But he really needs to get back on his feet. So please, guys. And if you don't donate to him, he's going to show you a picture of his foot and what it looked like before or when it was really bad. He has like a little hole in his foot. You'll get $500 just by looking at the pictures of his foot. So please, guys, go to his GoFundMe and please help him out because he needs it and we need to help him. And again, guys, don't forget to go on our website, americaspulsenetwork.com. If you're interested in sponsoring our show, if you're interested in sponsoring my show, Damon Galdo's, and the entire network, go to americaspulsenetwork.com. We're always looking for sponsors, affiliate sponsors. I have 2 affiliate sponsors. And the network is always looking. And again, guys, don't forget to watch us on The Pulse every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. We had a great show last night. We had some great special guests. You never know who the special guest is going to be. So don't forget to watch The Pulse every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. And of course, don't forget, we have the Jersey Shore with our friend Damon Galdo every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Also Friday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. with a repeat of his radio show. You can also follow Damon Galdo on Facebook at Damon Galdo on Facebook and also at Damon Galdo on X. And don't forget, Conservative Corner with my friend Seth Eisenberg every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Please don't touch that dial, and viewer discretion is advised. You can follow the Conservative Corner on Facebook and at Conservative Seth on X, but don't forget his show every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And of course, guys, don't forget to follow us on this network at America's Pulse Network. We're on YouTube. We are on X. We are on Parler. We are on TikTok. We are on Rumble. We're on 5 different networks now, or platforms now, and counting. And of course, don't forget to follow me, Alexandra Levine, on X, at Alexandra Levi20, at AirLevine85 on Instagram, at AirLevine85 on Truth Social, at AirLevine85 on Rumble, at Levine Consulting on YouTube, and at AirLevine85 on TikTok. Thank you guys so much. This has been a wonderful hour. Wonderful, wonderful guest, John Richardson. And again, guys, the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
Jersey Shore, we make our stand.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.